Hello everyone, and welcome to Learn Stuff with Onen. I am Onen Wintercrow, and today we're going to be talking more about our favorite corvids, the crow family. If you're wondering why I am in a car doing this video, it's because I'm going to be making some crow sounds. I don't want to scare my local crows or have them thinking that something's going on that's really not. Yeah, I actually did a video on that. If you watch the video, How to Crow Like a Crow, it'll go over a lot of that information. So watch that video. You'll learn how to crow like a crow, and that'll help you with the rest of what's going to be discussed in this video, which is understanding crow calls. What do they mean? What's that crow in the tree trying to say? Is there something going on around you that you might need to know about? Crows can give you a lot of information about what's going on around them and around you if you're out in nature. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one, which is structured calls. And you'll hear, if you do some research and you go and you read a little bit about it, there's a couple of different terms that I've seen that are for the same thing. The one that's most common is like a structured call is what you'll hear, or I've also heard it called like a companion call. I think I've heard that term before. But really, so a structured call is a patterned call. If you ever see a crow just sitting up in a tree and you're hearing patterns of a call in a sequence, that is a structured call. So say you see a crow that's up in a tree and you hear that is a structured call. And what structured calls, what they're doing is they're essentially just checking in with each other. The crow up in this tree is sending out a call to let everybody know, hey, everything's good over here. How's things going on, wherever you're at? And a lot of times you'll hear another crow use that same pattern off in the distance. So they are communicating to each other. But yeah, that's a structured call. It's more or less kind of a check-in call. They're checking in with each other. There's nothing going on. They're just letting everybody know, where they're at. The other crows are letting them know, hey, we're over here in this parking lot. Not much going on. Hey, where are you at? Oh, I'm over here, near that pine tree, near the, whatever store. And nothing going on over here either. So that is a structured call, a patterned call. Or as I like to call it, a buddy call, because they're checking in on all their buddies. And you'll hear they've tried to do research on it, and you'll hear different pattern structured calls. You'll hear like, you'll hear it in groups of 4, where it's like, you'll also hear structured calls like, and it's a structured call. Excuse me. It's rough on your throat. I go over that in my other video too. But yeah, so they're not really sure what the different structured calls mean. We do know that crows have different dialects and will say things kind of different from region to region. So it very well could be that it changes. That is one theory that they have out there, that whatever the calls are change depending on what information they're trying to convey, and that changes regionally. Okay. What I've noticed with the local crows here, if you sit and watch them, you'll start to pick up patterns. Like when I feed my crows, I leave them peanuts, stuff like that. I've noticed that last call that I did, that's the call that they seem to throw out there once they've found food. And, they'll get a couple pieces, they'll give that call again, they'll get a couple other pieces, give that call again. So I am thinking that is a call for the crows in my area that lets them know, hey, there's food here. Y'all need to come here. There's some good stuff. My advice, once you've started to develop a relationship with your local crows, or even before you start developing a little bit, just sit and watch them. Watch what they do. and watch how they sound when they're doing it, and you'll start to pick up on little cues and stuff like that. The more that you watch them. I have a little notebook that I write it all down in, so that I can kind of remember. I'll use dashes for long calls and dots for short calls. So like, that would be a dash, dot, dot in my notebook. So that is structured calls. The second one is unstructured calls. And these are the calls that let you know something else is going on around you. Something has got their attention. They could be, they could see a hawk out in the sky that they're about to have to tangle with. They could see a snake on the ground. There could be a conspicuous looking human that's stressing them all out. But the difference is those calls will not be in a sequence, in a patterned sequence, like 3, pause, 3, pause. They won't be like that. They're going to be more erratic. They're going to be more unique. So if you see a crow that's up in a tree and he's that is an erratic pattern, and that lets you, they are alarming everyone else around them that, hey, something's going on here. It might be dangerous, but I'm letting everybody know. Either I'm about to be in danger, y'all could be in danger, I need backup. It could mean any one of those things. Again, you'll just have to kind of watch and see to make that determination, because it can change from place to place. So that is unstructured calls. So with structured and unstructured call, really, to be able to determine what's going on with that crow at the time, you really need to look for the emotion and the intensity in the call. Like, I'll give you an example. Can you tell the difference between these two different calls? See what I mean? The second one, it's a lot more intensity to it. There's almost a little bit more emotion in it. It's more than just a, hey, how you doing? It's more of a, hey, hey, y'all, over here. That's how you can start to determine what is going on around that crow and around you and what that crow is trying to convey. So the 3 things to look for whether it is structured or unstructured. Essentially, whether it's a pattern call or an unpatterned erratic call, and then look for the emotion and intensity in that call. The one that's really hard to miss, you can't really miss it, is the warning call. And those calls are just all over the place, and they're not consistent as far as a structure, but they're consistent as in, like, it's like a guy yelling at somebody. So a warning call would sound like that would be like a warning call. And when you hear that, other crows are going to start to join in doing the same thing, and it's really cool, but it's kind of scary at the same time, because you have all these crows yelling at a thing. But I've seen that a lot when there's like a hawk circling around, when there's like a raccoon or something on the ground, something that could pose a danger to. So essentially they're yelling at that thing to let them know, hey, we're big, we're tough, we're scary, you need to get away. And that lets all the other crows in the area know, oh, that guy's in trouble, we need to go help. And crows are great at backing each other up. They're awesome. One crow lets off an alarm sound, they all come flocking. It's kind of neat. And then when they see the hawk, they'll start going out after it. They'll start circling around it. If it's something that's on the ground, they'll try to dive bomb it. Like if your local cat, walks through the yard and this crow sees it and is like, oh, there's a cat, it's dangerous. It'll start alarming, and then all the other crows will start alarming, and they'll all come together. It's really neat. So that is... that's our crow lesson for today on how to look for patterns and look for calls and what they mean. Like I said, I can give you examples of the calls and a generic kind of meaning of them, but because it can change a little bit from area to area, and each crow, each group of crows seems to be a little bit different. Obviously there's some patterns that are just across the board for all of them. But yeah, they do kind of change. So watch your local crows, see what they're trying to say, grab you a notebook. Thank you for joining me today. If you liked this video and you learned something useful, feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, or do all three. That would be much appreciated. I am Onen, and I will see you guys next time.